I know. I feel like every time we should go and search somebody in the space, because you're literally going to ask the question yourselves. Okay, so someone's going to.
If you want to.
So if I mention your name, please reveal yourself in the most decent way. Put your hand up. Exactly. We'll put the searchlights out. We'll simmer down with the chat, and we might do a drum roll without the drums. Okay. So first one. I've just had a look. They're fresh in. This is from Crystal. No, forgive me if I don't pronounce the names right. I'm a little bit dyslexic, or my glasses are very smudgy, both. Crystal Grandemange. Crystal Grandemange, are you here? Because you've got a real cork of a question. Can you reveal yourself? Lights up a little bit, or not? No.
No, maybe we have to do a time.
Well, that went really well, didn't it?
Tell me what she wanted to know.
That was like my marriage. You see? Sorry.
What did she want to know? Let's answer.
She wanted to know,
you said it was a good question.
Yeah, she said, how do you manage being a mum and your career?
Well, I actually have a podcast about this.
You do. It's like we planned it.
But actually, I think, like for any working, for me, when I had my first baby, who by the way is 19 now, it really knocked me for six. Like I feel like being a pop star at that time and being a new mum, I didn't really know exactly what that looked like, and I think it did take me a little minute. But now, at this point, I feel like, I've been doing what I do with children in tow for longer than the time when I didn't do it with them. So it's just like the only life we know, do you know what I mean? Like, it's literally the only life. And I love how unfazed they are. I got a phone call from Kit, 14-year-old, on Sunday afternoon. Like, we'd been off the pyramid stage probably about 20 minutes, and he rang me and I was like, "Hi Kit, your dad and I just played the pyramid," and he just went, "Oh, I'm a bit worried my leg's still going to be hurting for football on Monday." And it's just like, it's just like, woof, like not zero interest. But long may that continue. That was what was frustrating about lockdown, is that I was home with 5 people who could do the discos with us, but unfortunately hardly any of them were actual fans. No.
That was quite apparent, wasn't it, really? Which made it such fun. Annoying. Brilliant. Okay, good answer.
Even Mickey, the 4-year-old, if he's playing a game with me about songs, he'll be like, "Do you Murder on the Dance Floor?" And I'm like, "God, you're so predictable." What about some of the new material, Mickey?
Does he like the new material?
Yes, he does.
Good. Yeah, he's warming to it. Okay, so I've already asked that question. Right, there's Clive. But why do I always choose the really difficult? Just any Clive will do, actually. Is there a Clive in the room? So I have to do that. Hands up, Clive. No. Yes, great. In the middle. Oh, there. Right. What's your question, Clive? Come on, quick, stick to the microphone.
I don't know where that's coming from.
It was basically, I had 2 questions, but there was only 50 spaces in the actual app to put it in. So, can I throw a different one, or should I go
do whatever you want? Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. At the end of all your gigs, you do a beautiful acoustic session, a song from a random position. Where did that idea come from?
Well, I think it came from when we did the first performance of Wanderlust, wasn't it, Ed?
Yeah.
We were at a place called the Bush Hall, and
we were there.
Yeah, it's right for the Bush Hall, and we'd done a majority of the album, but I wanted to sort of. It was the first time when I'd really tried to marry the sort of folky sound of Wanderlust with the disco dance stuff my other albums, and I knew I wanted it all represented, but I also wanted that launch to go back to the beginning. But why did we do it at the back? I think it's just because where the piano was. Yeah. The grand piano was at the back, so we went to the back. But actually, when I go and see shows, I love something unexpected, and it's just, I have to say, it's really like complete delight for me to pop up and just sing unaccompanied and just try and get that like little, quiet moment. It's pretty awesome. It's really special. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
How do you connect to the emotion every time? Because you're such a brilliant actor as well. One of the challenges of acting is to repeat and repeat, as you do with all your songs. But you're always so true about it.
Well, I suppose, firstly, I find it really distracting when singers aren't connected to what they're saying. Like, surely that's providing you with the script and the emotion. And music is so imbued with emotion, isn't it? Mm-hmm. All of it. So I think I'm swept along by it, actually. It happens to me really easily, and I like that feeling a lot, actually. You've got to kind of just step into that room every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you do it expertly.
Thank you.
I'm going to do a random one without looking at the list, just in case they're not in as well. I'm just going to go. Oh, you're waving your. Are you wearing waving your underwear? What is it? Oh no, it's a T-shirt. It's something. Merchandise. Good prompt. Beautiful.
Do you want to chuck it
find
over?
him?
What is it? You can throw it my way if it's for me. Incidentally, we have got brand new T-shirts here tonight.
I
They look
noticed
cool.
them, I love them.
Sunny helped design it, and then there's a tea towel too. Of course.
Yeah.
Do you want to just chuck it?
Cool.
Just chuck it. Yeah?
Oh,
Let's
I
have
like
a little
that. It's a gift.
Hey!
Oh, it's
you're
amazing.
doing the tuk-tuk thing?
Yes,
Yay! I recognise it.
We're doing a Sophie Ellis-Bextor-Q&A trip across India.
Yes.
4,000 covers. Raising money for
I'll retweet it. I remember, I've already posted it once on my Insta. And I made a little donation. But yes, these guys, so you're doing a tuk-tuk journey across India, and you're must be listening to other people, not just me. Oh man. It's gonna send you mental. Well, I love it, thank you.
Brilliant.
I'll put it out there so you can see. Yes, yeah. I don't know, maybe. Ooh.
Really amazing. And do you have a
Get another
question as
question.
well? Do you have it? What's your name? Liam. Terry's going to come up and ask a question. Other than donate, which is a good question.
Terry, I've
And
got
sign
the
my
mic here
t-shirt.
so everyone can hear you, Terry.
Yeah.
She's gone.
Okay, Terry's on. Terry's on. Thank you.
Thank you, and I got some gherkins as well from Kevin
Very
Dan
good.
Fran.
Oh, and that-
I mean,
love
obviously
gherkins.
I've already had gherkins before the gig, but I'm always open to more.
I actually do love gherkins. I
really
hate
do love
cucumbers, but I like them when they're pickled.
You can open them in a minute
Thank
if
you.
you like.
Thank you. Yeah, great. So, was that the question?
They're overwhelmed.
They don't want a question. They're teasy, aren't they? No, let's do somewhere else. I feel like over there, in the dark somewhere. Somewhere over there. Is there
Oh, yeah,
somebody
there's
over
hands
there?
up here, man.
Hands up there.
Should we just answer some of the questions that are on your phone?
Let's do that.
Let's do the list, because I feel like if you've taken the time to submit a question, let's see.
Okay, let's do it. So,
I could probably answer more if we don't try and find everybody straight away to ask it. Would you be comfortable with that? Because it'd be nice to talk and
good
try and
idea.
get through more
Okay,
questions.
great.
Yeah.
So, here's a beautiful one. And it is by Louis Bertie. Would you record an R&B album to broaden horizons? Oh, I'm not sure about
I'm
that.
open to lots of stuff, really. I mean, I don't know if I do see R&B in my future, but I mean, I do. I don't know. Like, never say never to anything. I mean, I get quite amused by hopping around genre. Obviously, I went from indie to doing groove jet, so from indie to house. But then my favourite actually was the song before Youngblood. Was a trance single with Armin van Buuren. Like, that's quite a juxtaposition, isn't it? That really amused me. I was happy with that.
I remember seeing you in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Around the audience.
Oh my gosh, yes.
At the garage in Highbury, Islington.
Yes.
What were you, 18, 17?
Yeah, well, I started when I was 16.
You're a star. You're an absolute star then. We all knew it. Okay, another question. Not that one. No. I'm actually younger, thank you. Okay, this is a beautiful one. This is from, it's Crystal who's gone, but she had another one, she was busy. What is the most personal song in Hannah? I think you've answered it in
Yes,
a way.
I think Until the Wheels Fall Off is definitely the most personal one.
okay.
Yeah, I think that is and actually a song called Tokyo as well, which kind of set the scene, yeah.
Great, we might hear that later. Why was Unrequited never a single? So beautiful.
Oh, well, you know what, the single choice thing has always been quite tricky. I mean, you just have to go with, I suppose, a sort of general feeling of what feels right. We speak about it, don't we, for the songs from the albums, but there's other things at play. I don't know, I mean, I suppose, yes, it's nice if people feel there's other songs on the record that they would have liked that, but maybe sometimes it's nice to have a song that's just yours on the record too. Don't always have to share it with everybody.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's your prerogative. This is interesting. I mean, I don't know whether, or maybe you've answered it. What's your best achievement in your career so far? This comes
Definitely
from-
just keeping going, like 100%.
And how? More than that.
I do think there's been a lot of times where, because nobody's career is like that, it's always kind of this shape. But there's definitely been times when I just didn't take the hint and I just kept doing things. I think there was nothing else as well that I knew how to do. I've literally got no qualifications. Like, this is kind of it.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right. Actually, would you ever go and do a degree or something like that? Would you like? No.
Can I get one of those honorary ones where you don't really have to do anything?
Yeah.
I'd love one of them.
Definitely. You can have one of mine. Now somebody, Claire from Chiswick. Claire Jones.
Claire Jones, is that my Claire Jones? So Claire Jones is the producer of my podcast. Claire, if you're out there, I love you very much, Claire.
Oh, right.
Claire and I worked together on the whole thing for 3 years now. We really love what we do, don't we? We just had our 100th episode.
You've done your 100th one?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We love it very much. Yes.
What
was her question?
What is it, Claire?
You could probably just shout it to me, I'll hear you. That's a bit weird, maybe. How do I get through what without crying? What did I say? Well, until the wheels fall. I didn't actually, I did cry. But you know what? Sometimes it's a really nice feeling being able to be emotional, actually. And I think, you know, especially during that 2 years that everybody I know found hard. It was very heavy, the news was heavy, it was unrelenting, it was abstract. You know, there was a lot of cruelty, I think, in going through what we went through with the pandemic and lockdowns, and the idea that something invisible might be something that you unwittingly, by hugging someone you love, you might make them so ill that they die. That's a very cruel thing to be thinking about all the time.
It cuts against our basic instinct.
It does, and so when I was writing this album, I thought, God, I'm so lucky because I can just channel things. I can put things out there. That's a privilege. Not everybody's lucky enough to have that in what they do for a living, so I don't mind if I do cry sometimes. Youngblood has definitely made me cry a lot of times.
And one of the questions here about actually Kitchen Disco was, were you surprised at the extreme success you had from that?
Oh my goodness, 100%, yes. I mean, when we did our first Kitchen Disco, and Richard and I have been thinking about this over the last couple of days, because playing at the main stage at Glastonbury was this really extraordinary place to end up. I mean, I turned around and there's, you know, a big photo of my home with the bunting and my son and my window. And Richard said, you know, imagine if someone had just shown you that 2 years ago. What would you make of it? I don't know why my home's there on the stage. So the Kitchen Disco was really special, but yeah, when it started, I honestly thought people were just going to say, I thought people were going to be quite mean, actually. I thought they were going to say I looked ridiculous and what was I thinking of. And I put on like a sequin catsuit like week 1. I went there very, very quickly. But I mean, honestly, it was just such an incredible thing to be part of. And everybody that came over, like, you're here, you know, it was very, very special, definitely.
But we all danced to you in our kitchens, didn't we? We all did on a Friday night date, wasn't it? We really did. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, well,
thank you.
that.
Thank you for that.
Oh, we loved it. Thank you.
Huge joy.
Well, it was nice to have a bit of fun.
Back to this current album, and one of the questions on the back of that, if there was another country to inspire another album, what do you think it would be, or a town?
Ooh.
What do we think?
I don't
Pablo,
know.
stop talking, Pablo, honestly. Interrupting so much.
I mean, I think Japan worked really perfectly for us for lots of reasons.
Narnia?
Narnia. Yeah, go through the wardrobe. Oh, yeah. Oz.
Oz, definitely.
I think the thing that was extraordinary about Japan was not just, I mean, I hadn't been. We started writing the first song before I'd even gone there, and I was already trying to picture it. If you haven't been, and it's a really extraordinary place, because even the light is different. The light's kind of diffused, the palette of colours, you've got these creamy pinks and matcha greens and beiges. It looks very other. You're very aware you're in Tokyo the whole time you're there. And then because we came back and then immediately went into lockdown, the trip had nostalgia built in from very quickly. You know, that thing of thinking, I can't believe only 3 weeks ago I was in Japan, and now that feels just an impossibility. How was I ever there?
Yeah.
So I think that's part of what made it this really magical place to escape to. I'd love to go back one day. Yeah.
Good, you will, I'm sure. Okay, I think we've got time for one more. It can come from the floor if you're really keen, you're right by a mic.
Oh yeah.
Can we
Go
trust
on.
it?
Yeah,
yes,
come on.
you put your hand up first. Sorry, sorry, no, I've really upset you, haven't I?
You can do
no,
both,
you
don't
can
worry.
do both. Okay, you and then you. Lovely white t-shirt and not so white t-shirt. Trying to be so diplomatic really doesn't suit me.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't think I
Hello.
know this. When it comes to making a new album, how do you actually pick what songs make it onto the final track list? Were there some that didn't almost make the cut?
Actually, not too much. We're quite lean, aren't we? I mean, with Wanderlust, there was literally 0 songs extra. We just wrote what we needed to write, I think.
There's quite a lot of songs for Hannah though, that are like
It's true, a bit more.
sitting around.
I still think about the heist one.
Oh yeah.
The one that got away. Is there one
Yeah,
that
there was
got away?
one I wrote. I mean, maybe it was a little bit too crazy, but it was this song about a fantasy of just robbing a bank.
We all have that fantasy,
I
don't we?
really enjoyed it. I think it has to find a way
One
into the
day,
world.
maybe.
I really like it.
There are some that will never see the light of day.
Yeah, sometimes you start an idea and you're like, oh, I think we're quite sure-footed. I think that's another thing we like about working
They're in
together.
perpetual detention.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, and you just start gathering them up together and you're like, this makes... And also we make the album like vinyl, so we knew that 1,000 Orchids would be track 1, we knew what would end side A, how would the side B to start.
Yeah, yeah.
That's sort of how we think of it, isn't it?
Right.
Like a proper album.
You structure
old
it. You structure
school.
it like that. That's
Yes.
brilliant. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Your engineers, your architects,
Yeah.
beautiful. Great. You
And
happy
then
with that?
what
'Cause
you had
too
two
late.
hands up,
Yeah,
so let's do
this
it.
very keen gentleman.
So I do have a question, but today is actually my 25th birthday.
Yay.
So thank you so much for being here.
Happy
Thank you. Were there any Japanese artists that inspired you for your new album? Or was it just Japanese music in general?
I don't even think it was that literal, actually. It was not really that, it was like a dream. It was like a sort of kaleidoscopic otherness. I don't want to sound like hugely pretentious with it, but it just wasn't. It's Japan insofar as the palette of colours and a sort of context. But really it was like an emotional springboard, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think for some reason, I think when we wrote 1,000 Orchids, I had this. I imagined all these like orchids like falling like
Yes,
snow,
yes.
and I was thinking of that scene in Kill Bill actually,
Yes.
with Lucy Liu and Uma when they have the fight, and it looks so amazing, and
Yes.
the visual aspect of that.
I
don't
think
know
we are
why.
quite filmic as well.
Yeah,
aren't we?
definitely.
We always sort of see landscapes and
Yeah.
and terrain and people and yeah.
Yeah, and I think hearing in colour on the album kind of also
Yeah.
sort of encapsulates that a little bit.
Yes,
you know?
definitely. Yeah, and a bit of synesthesia, like you're
It's very
Senses
anthemic.
or-
It's very anthemic, that one, actually.
Hearing in
1,000
Colour.
Orchids.
Oh,
yeah,
1,000 Orchids.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Make a good Bond track, I think, in a way.
Also, we kind of set this. We wrote that first, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we had the first lyric we had was "You'll find no witches waiting here, no ghosts hidden within the dark," because we thought we're not going to bring back the characters from Wanderlust and Familia. This is something other. So yeah, it was fun to start something in a different style, really. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you for your wonderful generosity of questions and, of
Yes.
course, brilliant answers. Pablo, Ed, Sophie, congratulations. It's the most amazing album, the best to date. Love your
Thank
work as
you.
ever. Really are.